Hey guys, welcome to the Gray State and this episode of the Rounds Up. The Rounds Up is a lot like Bullet Time if you guys have seen any of my series on that, except we go a little bit deeper on the round and we test it in the capacity for which it was designed to be used. So hunting rounds, I'll check and see how they perform in a hunting environment. If it's a personal defense round, I'll put it in a ballistic gel and see how it would perform there. And for target and match rounds, which we're looking at today, we're going to push it out a little bit further. So today, the round that we're going to be taking a look at is Hornady's Superformance 178 grain match load in .308 Winchester. So a little bit about this round. It's got a ballistic coefficient of 0.530, which is pretty stellar. And then it's also got a published velocity of 2,780 feet at the muzzle. And that's for a .308 Win. So it's going to be pretty fun to see how this one actually flies. 2780 is a tall order. So the weather conditions today, just to kind of get us started, it's kind of coolish. It's about 72, 73, but really muggy. We had some storms come through last night. Humidity's up like around 96%. Barometric pressure is around 29.9. I'll take all the specifics and publish those as well. Other things to note for today, it's going to be 3 tests. It's going to be a 10-round chronograph test. It's going to be 5-round group at 100 yards. And then we're going to push this thing out to 1,000 yards, weather dependent. And hopefully it doesn't get too crowded here. I'm at the range. You guys can hear some shots going behind me. Hopefully I can kind of work around everybody and get what I need to get done at 8,000 yards. Okay, that's basically it. Okay, so the rifle that I'm going to be using for today's shooting, again, shooting position, just like usual, is going to be in the prone position. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything from a practical position to kind of show what these rounds can do. And then the second piece of information is that this is a 22-inch barreled. It's kind of like an M24, but I had it cut down so it's at 22 inches. So the velocities are going to be down just a little bit probably from what they were tested. But other than that, it's a stainless 5R barrel. That's got a 1 in 10 twist, just like an M24. Obviously, it's been bedded into an Accuracy International AICS Gen 2 stock. Up top, I'm running a Nightforce ATAC-R F1 5-25 with a Horus Tremor 3 reticle in it. It's mounted by a quick release ADM mount. The only other thing that's noticeable about this particular rifle is that I did take out the stock Remington trigger and I've replaced it with a much more preferred, to me, Timney Calvin Elite. Okay, that's it. Let's get rolling. $27.43. $27.42. $27.63. $27.46. $27.47. $27.37. That was way off. $27.55. $27.54. $27.49. Shot 9. Last one. Here we go. $27.62. All right. Active 10 rounds. Did really well. I'm going to use the new Bluetooth app that's available from LabRadar now. For those of you guys that don't know it, if you have a Bluetooth enabled phone, either iPhone or Android, you can go out and get the new app. you do have to upload the device firmware to I think 1.2.2 on the LabRadar. So I'll have another video on that shortly. That's not marketing related. That will show what it can do, what it can't do, and what some of my asks are for it. But reviewing the data here on my phone versus the LabRadar immediately, it looks like we had, for that 10-shot string, we had an average of 2,750 feet per second with a high of 2763, a low of 2737, which is an extreme spread of 26, which gives us a standard deviation of 8.7. The other thing that's really cool here on this app now, I can look and see the fall off here, and it was pretty consistent. But my energy was almost 2,988 foot-pounds for this 178 grain round at the muzzle, which is which for those of you who don't know a lot about Win 308, that's pretty darn high. An extreme spread of 6 and a standard deviation of 2 on the energy. And if we were shooting competitively, it would give us a power factor of 489.4. So very, very stout round. I had a little bit of sticking on the bolt due to the pop that these cartridges have. Never felt like really too concerned, but these are rocking. No doubt about it, it's a smoking round. So next thing we're going to do is I'm going to break this down, and I'm going to do a 5-shot group at 100 yards. All right, let's get going on that. All right, guys, let's move on to test 2, which is going to be precision and accuracy. For this test, it's really simple. I'm going to do a 5-shot group. I am going to shoot for group. I think I'm going to be a little left on the windage. And then after that, I'm going to follow up with one down the pipe on a fresh target. Okay, let's hit it. All right, here we go. All right, so that group looks pretty good. It's a little wider than I wanted, but we got 5 of them there in half an inch, it looks like. So I'm gonna go change the target. I'm gonna come back, put a fresh one up, and I'll just try and punch one right down the middle after I make some adjustments on my scope. Okay, I'll be back. All right, fresh target is hung. I've made the adjustments to my 0. Here we go, 1 shot. I'm going to aim for the upper part of the diamond. All right, well, there you go. That's the end of this one. 1 shot, 1 down the pipe. That's about all we need. Okay, so that wraps up the precision and accuracy portion of the testing. And, you know, as a quick recap, I got to say I'm really excited to see how this thing performs at 1,000 yards. You know, when you piggyback onto the fact that we just had some really good velocity numbers from the chronograph, and now we saw some decent performance here at 100 yards, you know, through 2 little exercises where I had a 5-shot group that was really two little mini groups that were hole on hole, but the sum of them were under half a minute. and then I dialed in the correction into my scope, and we were able to put one right down the middle, right down the pipe. So everything is looking really good for 1,000. But before we move on to 1,000, I do want to note that the weather is changing a little bit as we move further on in the day here. The barometric pressure is rising a little bit, and we're starting to pick up some winds left to right from a shooter's perspective at about 6 to 8 knots. So I'm going to go down, I'm going to set the stuff up at 1,000 yards, and hopefully we don't get too many more people here, because also as we move later in the day, we're getting a lot more people show up. Because of that, I'm going to get set up as quickly as I can, and then we're going to start sending them long to 1,000 yards. All right, let's get at it. All right, guys, I'm heading out to 1,000 now. We're going to see what this 178 grain Hornady boat tail hollow point can do. GoPro's in place, totally off center bowls, doesn't matter. All right, here we go, 1,000 yards back. At 300, we got some wind. Here we go, 1,000 yards with the Hornady 178 grain boat tail hollow point. I think I'm dialed in here. Let's see. Hopefully I am.
like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 6, I think, right now. And that's it, I'm clear.
Okay guys, so that's the 1,000-yard test done. I can think I got 9 out of 10 on there. I think I might have had 1 flyer. Overall though, I think I had 6 of them that were actually in a pretty tight group, probably sub MOA at 1,000 yards with factory rounds. So pretty impressed with that as well. Let's get down there and check it out. All right, so I'm heading out to 1,000 right now. That was me 3 times today. Yeah. Okay guys, so that's the wrap up of the 3 tests today. I hope you guys found this beneficial and useful and some good information. So overall, I'm just one guy and I try to use equipment that's pretty much readily available that anybody can get a hold of without some secret magic done to it. So I think overall, the 3 tests today, I think this round performs great. And of course, I'm talking about the Hornady Superformance 178 grain. It's a smoking round. Test 1, we learned that the average speeds are like right around 2750. That's bananas for a 308 Winchester, for those of you not too familiar with the platform. Second test, 5 rounds. I was really happy with where it came out. First time working with this round. I give it a big old thumbs up there too. And then finally, the long range at 1,000 yards. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that too. It was a little noisier up there than I would have liked, but you know, what can you do? So I had a couple shots that were, you know, a little further off than I would have liked. I had a couple people sitting up there with me, kind of bouncing around a little bit, and you don't think that it matters that much, but 1,000 yards on a bipod, every little vibration can make a little bit of a difference. So I got 6 of them pretty tight in there. I know I got 1 off the target, but it happens to the best of us, I guess. Kind of joking there. And again, I hope you guys found this useful. I would definitely give this round a thumbs up. I'm pretty impressed with it. And I'm probably going to stock up on some more of them. I'm really happy with it. Okay, that's it. Hope you guys found it useful. And until next time, stay safe.